I am. I am. I am the bongo man, the Congo man, the black heart man, the mad man. I am the Rasta man. I am criticized, ostracized, dehumanized. I am the Rasta man. I am. I make black women princess, queens, empress, goddess, African. I am the Rasta man. I am. I am Shaka, Bogle, Samsha, Taki, Nani, Asante, Mama, Naya Bingi. I am the Rasta. I am the drum, aura, mbili, flute, xylophone, rattles. I am the Rasta man. I am Juju, Fuji, Highlife, Makosa, Afrobeat, Jazz, Reggae, Ska, Mento. I am the Rasta man. I am fighting Western illusion, confusion, white supremacy, lunacy, neocolonialism, schism. I am the Rasta. I am fighting communism, socialism, democracy, theocracy, autocracy. I am the Rasta man. I am fighting for justice, preservation of life, your life, my life, our life. I and I one. I understand that I am the Rasta. I am the Rasta man. I am.
Holy Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. This priest right here, I'm so happy to have my priest back on Baba TV to teach the people what he has to bring to us today. This very important message coming from the island of Antigua, but more importantly, coming from Africa, coming from the first people, a great and mighty people. We don't want to get caught up on no tribalism. Tribalism is killing our people. I'm from here, I'm from there, and it's the same blood, the same talent, the same people. So with that being said, I'm not going to ramble. I'd like to present to some and introduce to others my brother, the Honorable Priest Isaac.
Yes, my Lord. Blessed love, of course, to you, and blessed love to your, wonderful audience, and of course, your full family household. Give thanks continually, for the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. We definitely give thanks for the father and the mother of creation, because we definitely know that, within creation itself, although we were taught this thing about so-called God being a man, we've come to realize that, that there's nothing in creation that could be without the balance of the masculine and the feminine energy. When I say masculine and feminine, yes, male and female represent masculine and feminine, but masculine and feminine goes even deeper than, basically a man and a woman then, because of course, within all aspects of nature, there's a balance of masculine and feminine, even down to the atom. You have what they call positive and negative, So you have the neutrons and the electrons and the protons. So the positive and the neutrons are supposed to be neutral, and the electrons are supposed to be negative. But negative now don't mean bad. The language that they have us speaking have us so confused. So negative can be used for something bad, but then negative can be used as just the opposite of positive, in the sense of an electric charge, But then if they teach you that positive is good and negative is bad, then all of a sudden, when you go into science now, although science doesn't say positive charge is good and negative charge is bad, but somewhere in your mind, it's still playing with you. Now, you know how that hits home? Because remember, the masculine represents the positive and the feminine represents the negative. That's just naturally what it is. So the positive here, masculine, and the feminine is the negative. Now, because of the language that we're speaking, because you would have to find some other better way to say that, because just because of the language that you're speaking, it may sound like if you're saying the woman is the negative, as in like the bad, the part that is not really too good. But then again, when you study the whole science, especially when you come down to not just religion, but even the social construct of many nations, that is why the woman is depressed and suppressed, have to fight to vote, have to fight to do all sorts of different things, because therein lies that balance, that positive, that negative energy. So we give thanks for positive and negative, which is the balance of male and female. If you were to wire a house, if you were an electrician and you were going to wire a house, you need the positive and you need the negative for the electricity to run through the house. If you were to just say wire the house with the negative, you will get no electricity at all. But hear this: if you were to wire the house with the positive only, not only will you get no electricity, but you would burn the house down. So what you're seeing there now, the positive by itself won't work. The negative by itself won't work. They have to work together. But what is interesting, the negative by itself, it won't work, but it's very passive. The positive by itself, which represents male, it won't work neither, but it's very destructive. And if you notice all the wars and all the battles that you see taking place in the world, and all these, for as long as we open them history books, it's like it's fellas, does be causing these wars. So, that's just a little introduction, as we are glorifying the Father and Mother of creation. And again, we are very thankful for being in the fire. Again, Baba Every Time Fire. And of course, we are this evening, the good brother has invited us to share with the audience, the recent happenings within our institute, which is the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. So I definitely will be doing that. In a few moments, I should be sharing my screen as well once I have the permission to do that on this platform. And basically, we will be speaking about a few things, my good brother. And I definitely, as you know, the title really is Educating the Youth is Paramount. And I'm going to really begin, with, giving the audience a good idea of what systems that we have put in place, really, to add to the evolution of the youth, the evolution of our young ones, the evolution of the younger generation. I wouldn't say the next generation as such. I mean, this is a time when, people like to say, well, back in my days. What do you mean back in your days? So whose days are now? You're still here. Back in your days, all it now is your days. So the next generation is me. The younger generation is me too. So the point is, this is something that we are supposed to be looking at as far as the edification of our young ones. That is like generational wealth. Generational wealth is equated to generational knowledge and generational understanding of self. Although I know our audience, my good brother, is quite hip to where we are, but what I would like to, let me just share my screen as well. Let me make sure, this is this is a lot of things here. This is a app that I am not that accustomed to, but I'm going to get it right now. Okay, here we are. Bam, bam, bam. Right. I think my screen is sharing there. Good. I don't see myself, but maybe I can see myself. Well, maybe the audience can see me. But it's all right. Whatever the case is, as I said, we give thanks for the Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie the First. To the audience, let me just share my website with you. I hope we're seeing this. You're looking at our official website here at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. I would invite everyone, whenever you can, well, at least when we seal this program tonight, you could take a chance and visit our website, and you could see the different items and services that we really have to offer. Really now, the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge, which was founded by myself, really is an institute that is bent on the edification of the populace on a whole, especially when it has to do with all aspects of life. Now, of course, just like your good self, Every Time Fire, you have a platform here, which is adding to the edification and the upliftment of our people. We can't overlook nobody, you understand, especially when the work is done, with a genuine heart. So the education process, because we're going to talk a bit about reparation too. And they speak about reparation a lot nowadays. But I always consider that reparation really is the repairing of the nation. That's what it means. And the first step for reparation in my book must be education. Now, education, we do not have to get education from the former colonial masters or the current colonial masters for that, as a matter of fact. But we are in a position where we can edify ourselves. I mean, all the grandmasters have come and gone, and some are still with us, who have done the works, who have been in the trenches. Remember, even when I was a youth, Egypt wasn't in Africa, Somebody that may be under 20 might be scratching their head and say, what is he saying there? When I was young, Egypt was not in Africa. It's in Africa now, but it wasn't in Africa when I was young. And as simple as it may look, my brother, as simple as it may seem, it is individuals like the same Dr. Ben Yokanen. It is individuals like Dr. Ivan Van Sertima and even Dr. Henrik Clark, who really were the force behind the whole academic world, behind the whole world of intelligentsia, to make all the talking heads and the degreed people bow and back off and humble themselves and say, yes, Egypt is really in Africa. Because, remember, coming up, getting into the studies, we not only read the books of our esteemed elders and our esteemed ancestors, we also read the books from the Europeans that were written maybe 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and Egypt was not in Africa. So it is people like, again, Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark and others, specifically them, on the front line, and others who came after, just to kind of reinforce it, to make sure that the world now, whether you like Egypt or not, or have some sort of weird religious outlook on Egypt, you still will admit that Egypt is in Africa. And again, it may seem simple, but a few decades ago, it was not in Africa. I'm sure even if you were asked in school, where is Egypt, and you didn't say in the Middle East or someplace like that, you may have gotten it wrong. Maybe 50 years ago, I'm speaking of. So this is what right education does. It sets the mind straight. So give thanks to the scholars, those that have come, those that have gone, and those that are still here with us. Now, as I said, the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge is somewhat of a collaboration of all the different works and services that we have to offer. Of course, my brother, I am an international independent educator in different subject areas. I am a certified archaeoastronomer, certified by the Politecnico di Milano. That's a university in Italy. And of course, within my studies, we go into many different aspects of theology, where, I would have written the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, which really goes into the theological aspect that the true land of Israel, according to the Bible, is Africa plus Arabia. So I'm just saying all of that too, and as you can even observe, just giving the audience a little tour of the website, we have a whole homeschooling program, which is designed for the youth specifically between the ages of the day they were born and really from K to third grade, really. That's really the span that it has been designed for. But I could tell you, my brother, I have several people above the age of a youth, people in their 40s and 50s, that are part of the international homeschool program that we offer, because the knowledge that is embedded inside of the homeschool programs, yes, we have designed it in such a way to, keep the attention of the children, etc. Because, children and young ones, they like colors, they like movements, they like sounds, and rightfully so. There's nothing wrong with that. You may not really expect a 2-year-old or 3-year-old to sit down in a 2-hour lecture given by Sir Hilary Beckles, the Vice Chancellor of the West Indies, and we're going to go through this document here. They may fall asleep on you, but a nice 10-minute, 15-minute daily presentation, still giving you the same level of information that the professor is giving in the college. Yeah. That the masters may be getting in the university. Yeah. We have taken it and we have, if you want to say, brought it to a level that it is palatable for the young mind. Okay, for example, when you see that they have baby food, now I'm not promoting no kind of shelf baby food that people would go out there and buy. But the point I'm making is what they have done, they've taken regular food and they have manufactured it in such a way that it can feed a little baby who may not even have teeth. Now, it's the same thing. We have taken the knowledge and information that we have and possess of Africa, of the ancient African history and the ancient African knowledge and heritage, of astronomy, of archaeoastronomy, of biology as well. And we have brought it to a level where the young ones, the 2-year-old, you better believe me, the 3-year-old, the 4-year-old, the 5-year-old, the 9-year-old could understand without any problem whatsoever. So basically, let me just show you. We have, at the moment, we specialize in 4 main subject areas within the international homeschool. Because let me just say to the family, and I would like, this is why this one was entitled, the education of our youth is paramount. So I want the family to somewhat feel me with exactly what I'm saying here as far as the international homeschool program that we offer. Now, even before I go too far, let me say, I have been advocating for a decade plus, my brother, and all those listening, for us to have African history and heritage as a part of the curriculum here in the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. For those who do not know, I am in the Caribbean. I'm in the island of Antigua, 108 square miles, population approximately 100,000 people. So it's a small little area in the earth, one of the dots on the map. But I'm just showing to you, just in case you didn't know, it's one of the former British colonies. That's how it's termed, but the Queen is still the head of state. So you can tell me how you do that maths. When the politicians are elected, they go to the government house where we have a governor general, the representative of the Queen, and they swear allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and her successors, and then they go about the business of running the country. So sometimes I don't know why people are angry when they're not doing the bid of the people. They never swore to uphold the will of the people. They never swore to uphold the will of the country. They never swore to uphold the will of their village, the street they were born, their granny, their grandfather. They didn't even swear to God. They swore on a Bible, but they swore to Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, that's a mystic one. Her heirs and her successors, those who come after her. So that's the state we are in, and most of the Caribbean countries that were under British rule are like that. And I'm just giving the audience an understanding. So obviously, you ain't gonna find nothing in the curriculum, the school that they force your children to go, because if they don't go, they will arrest you and all kind of stuff. This same school setting is totally void of anything that is saying Africa, anything that is saying melanated, anything that is saying black, Ghana, Togo, anything that is saying Kemet, Ethiopia. You can't find it nowhere. When you say history, Christopher Columbus is the first thing that comes to mind. That's the first thing you're taught in history. That's the first thing you're taught in history, that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492 to come discover me and you. And so obviously what we're doing here, we are looking at what is called, teaching the caterpillar how to be a good worm. And that's a theory that I've brought up where, when you observe a caterpillar and a worm, there's species of caterpillars and specific species of worms. All worms are not alike and all caterpillars are not alike. But there's specific worms and caterpillars to the untrained eye. They look the same. So just imagine the caterpillar was taken captive by the worm people. Just follow me good. And the worm people enslaved the caterpillar people for a long time, about 400 years. They taught the caterpillar how to be good worms. They gave them the food that worms ate. They taught them to sing and dance like worms. They even taught them, how to praise the great worm god. And what happened? The caterpillars, after they released them, thought that they were good worms. Now remember, caterpillar, although it may look like a worm to the untrained eye, it's a totally different thing. Because there will come a time when the caterpillar will have a little tingling within itself, and it will want to, weave a silky cocoon and then grow some wings and fly in the meadows and go on the flowers and suck the nectar. Worms don't do that. But because the worm has enforced its culture, its religion, and its education system on the caterpillar has totally forgotten that it's a caterpillar, and it thinks that it is a Englishman. That's what the education system does. So this is why now, making a long story short, this is why we have been advocating for a decade plus to the Ministry of Education every single year about getting, Afrocentricity, African history and heritage within the school. Okay, as you can see, we ourselves have gone and certified ourselves in certain areas, so it's not something you can deny. I spent some time in the Bahamas where I worked with a curriculum team at a school by the name of a Kefran, a conscious school, assisting them to build a curriculum for their school. The point is now I have expertise in the field. But for whatever reason, and I shouldn't say for whatever reason, because one former minister of education clearly told me that the reason why they cannot put African history in the school is because the Caribbean Examination Council, which I think is headquarters in Trinidad, would not allow it. So you have all these caterpillars here. You're teaching them about the worms. And I'm saying, let's teach them a little about the caterpillar, and you're telling me, well, no, the Great Worm College says we can't do that. We are an independent people. So what I do, Brother Fire, every time Fire, is that every year, and I think you know this, every year for the last 9 years, this was the 9th year, I have an essay competition around African History Month. Every year I do it, where we allocate gifts, different prizes, whatever it may be, something that would entice the child. Whether it's computers, laptops, whatever, digital cameras, something that they want. And what we would do, we would encourage them to write an essay. We have them in different groups, and of course, if they win, they will win the different prizes. And of course, we have a prize giving ceremony, and it's gala event. But the point is now, there's a reason why we do this. I'm not a politician. I ain't looking for likes, votes, or nothing. I don't even care. To be very honest, I don't care if a person don't like me. If you love me, I'm very thankful. But this ain't the reason why we do it is because obviously the governments that have passed, different political parties, have not shown interest in making the whole aspect of African history and heritage a part of their mandate. So we have created an extra curriculum activity, that's a curricular activity, which is the essay competition. And we have even advocated for getting the essay competition to be a part of their educational budget that they bring to Parliament every year. I'm just trying to... Just trying to, give the audience a kind of idea of really what is feeding us and fueling us, maybe I should say. So with that said, I'm not going too further into that. That's just giving you an idea. We have also created now a homeschool program. So I'm actually full circling back to that, wherein we offer African history and heritage. That's one subject area. We offer um, astronomy, and we offer biology, as well as language arts. And when we speak language arts, we are specifically speaking of the English language. Now, let me say that the program that we have established, the homeschool program that we have established, is not really a substitute for any educational program designed or housed by any government anywhere in the world. But it is considered, at least it's not there as yet, because it's growing. It's growing. You know, I'm a certified priest. You know, as I said, I'm a certified archaeoastronomer. You know, so in a sense, these subject areas that I teach, if you're an African priest, you have to know African. That's African heritage. I have my certificate there. You know, as I said, I'm dealing with astronomy. I have my certificate there. You understand? So we are growing. Even we ourselves are certifying ourselves in the whole aspect. Although I said language arts, even within the African program, we do teach Swahili as well, Kiswahili specifically. So it's not the language arts as far as the English is, because again, we do live in a world where that is something that is extremely important. So many parents really are very interested in their children, you know, passing English and maths. Maths for sure, I clearly understand. English, well, I understand too, because that is what most of the world is speaking as such. But we can't hang on that. So in our African history and heritage program, we definitely go into different African languages as well. Very important for the left brain and the right brain functioning, you know. Now, the English, the language arts program that we offer is actually free of cost to anyone who is on any of the other African history, or I should say, any of the homeschool programs that we have. So as I said, we deal with astronomy, and our programs are very interactive, my good brother. You know, the children, we have several testimonies. The children, both children and parents, delight very much in the classes. The classes are actually sent out each and every day. Well, between the period of Monday to Thursday, I should say, specific classes are sent out specific days. They are already prepared. The children get their worksheets that they have to perform specific works. They have their specific assignments that they must do as well. The videos that they receive, and of course, I myself and my young ones actually interacting with them as well, specifically on the astronomy and the African history and heritage classes. So it is something, you know, that the young ones will delight in, the interaction, as I said as well, and of course the presentation and it is not something that is too heavy for the mind of a child. But I could tell you that any parent that has their child on the international homeschool that we offer, you know, they would see an obvious difference in the intelligence of the young ones. I can speak, for example, African history and heritage. What will happen is that you could clearly see a growth in appreciation for the Afrocentricity. We instill that in our African history and heritage program. It's designed for them to have a stronger appreciation for the Afrocentricity. As far as astronomy, trust me, they would blow your mind after we are done with them. Even before we are done with them, you know, by the time you're into week 3, 4, and 5, you will see an obvious difference. And you yourself as the parent would be sitting with them and see the classes going through, you know, the one-on-one connection. And as I said, we have also recently begun our biology classes where we go into the different systems of the body, the skeletal system, the respiratory system, the nervous system as well, and the photosynthesis and these different things, solid, liquid, and gas. And it's designed again, family, for the young minds. It's specifically designed. The interaction is designed for the child that is even just learning to talk. Because when it's homeschool time, I'm Uncle Priest. I'm Uncle Priest Isaac. You say an honorable priest, but when it's homeschool time, it's Uncle Priest is here, and we definitely deal with it on that level. But as I said, we have big people, as such, in our homeschool program. So again, because what I'm saying, family, when the caterpillar starts to feel the tingling, because naturally, nature is going to kick in. That's what happens to us, no matter what they teach us, Nature is going to kick in at some time. Just like puberty kick in, nature is going to kick in. And just because you're naturally not a worm, you're going to have this feeling as if you want to, as I said, spin a silky cocoon. You're going to feel like if you're growing wings, you want to grow wings. But because we've been so enslaved, when mommy caterpillar see you growing the wings, she can say, hey, don't be growing no wings in here. You see, like when I was rassing up as Rastafari, yeah, man, in as they say, my generation, when the youths them were putting on locks, it's not like today, when everybody have locks, all queer people have locks on their head, But when we were coming Rastafari, when you put on your locks, it's as if you're just making a statement to say, hey, I ready to go on my own. Yeah, man, you have to leave home and so. No two-pot cooking in here. These were the words that the young I would hear. No two-pot cooking in here. You know what I mean? If you're going to cook a second pot, find somewhere else to live. Is locks growing? No locks growing in here. The same granny that kicked you out for the locks, she have locks now, but because times have changed. So she's saying that no locks growing in here. But locks is an African culture. Wings is the culture of the caterpillar who is going to become a butterfly. But because we've been taught to be worms, we despise anything about the caterpillar. We despise anything about the butterfly. We are the butterfly, We are the caterpillar. But because we have been taught to praise the worm god, we have a strong hatred for Africa. You understand? That is why the old people would say to you, what Africa you are talking about? You left anything in Africa? You know anybody in Africa? Imagine that. How long ago were you separated from Africa? Your mother, your mother's mother, her mother, and then her mother, and then her mother. You know where we reach? We back on the slave ship. About 5 to 6, no more than maybe 7 mothers ago, for some of us. We gone on the slave ship. That ain't too long ago. That's yesterday. We are a people that are accustomed to keep generations. How you think man can read the Bible and you see like hundreds of years, thousands of years worth of name coming down the line? Well recorded. It's not the Bible alone can do that. When we left the motherland, we left our records intact. Go to Timbuktu in Mali, we left our records intact. But now we come over here now, enslaved by the worms. All of a sudden, we're supposed to just totally forget everything about who we are. That is why you can't even get it in the educational system, because the educational system was not designed to teach you that you are a butterfly, never designed to teach you how to grow your wings. And it robs your glory. The material they call silk. Silk is a material that, is very valuable in the world, my good brother. And if you ask anybody where silk comes from, they will tell you it comes from a silkworm. Now, do you know a silkworm is not a worm? A silkworm is a caterpillar. It is a caterpillar that makes silk. But because the worm is so envious of the African or the caterpillar, I hope everybody understands what I'm saying with the analogy, man. I hope I don't have to break it down. Because the worm is so envious of the African or the caterpillar, you know, he robs the caterpillar of his glory and stamps his name on it. So silk now, which comes from a caterpillar, we are taught that it comes from a silkworm. So what you call a silkworm is not a worm. What you call a silkworm is a caterpillar. It's just like a jellyfish. It's not a fish. It's whatever it is, but it's not a fish. You understand? And a silkworm is not a worm. So that alone shows you, you know, and that little analogy, you could look on just the industrial world. If you drive a car, do you know how many buckets of rubber it takes just to make one of them tires on your car? And there's so many cars all around with so many tires. And when the tire is done, they just throw it away and we get new tire, manufacturing tire. This is tires alone. Where did all this rubber come from? The vast majority of it comes out of Africa. But Africa is not profiting from its rubber. Africa is not profiting from its gold. Africa is not profiting from its diamond, from its cocoa, chocolate, M&M and Hershey, all of these things. Africa is not profiting from even the water. And the lakes like Lake Naivasha in Kenya is being depleted because of some of these water companies. I'm not going to call their name. Some of these water companies, just in respect of, I don't know how it is with you and YouTube and so, because certain things, certain people say they all take down your video and so. So, yeah, but I'm saying even in Africa, the minerals that feed the world, we're not profiting from it. That's the silkworm there. The caterpillar making the silk and the worm get the credit. We have a phrase here in Antigua. The donkey do the work and the horse get the credit. It's the same thing, you know. So I'm saying all of this, family, just to show you the position that we are in as an African people and how the education of our young ones is so important. It is because of the worm education that they've given us from kindergarten, you know. From kindergarten and preschool and all of these foolish things that they have put in our minds, that most of us now have become so pathetic in our thinking. These people tell you that, I'm not going deep into this, you know, I'm saying actually more than I thought I would be saying, to be honest. These people tell you that, hey, I know a few months ago we were telling you that you have to wear your mask. You can take it off now. More than 80% of the population say, no, I'm keeping on my mask. No, you can take it off, man. It's all right. I'm the government here. You can take it off. No, I'm keeping it on. No. Still in a pandemic here. No. Wow. I mean, that's to show you have to be well trained. You got to be well trained for somebody to suffocate you. And because, I mean, I know most of us that put on that, we don't really want to put it on, but we don't know how it is. We can't be playing no games. We just do what we got to do and take that off. But they keep it on you for a while. And then they say, take it off. And 80% of the people say, no, I'm keeping it on. Every time when you get a little pussycat ride, it could be a kitten. Like say, you know, somebody say, hey, I have some cats here, some kittens. Here's one. When you carry that home, I'm speaking from experience, that little pussycat, especially is of age, especially if you took it from its mother, you have problems with it. It all scratch you up. You have to tie it with a little string and maybe tie it in the kitchen, give it a little sandbox. This is how we learned it. So that it can do its number 1 and number 2 in the sandbox, and you give it a little milk. I don't know why we give cats milk. All of that is a sick meditation and sick education that let us act like that. Give the cat milk, and monkeys eat banana, and rats eat cheese. You know, you set in a mouse trap and you put in cheese on the mouse trap. Who teach you to do that? Where did you learn that? Cartoons. Elephants eat peanut. Who teach you that? You ever see a monkey eating a banana? Talk proper. Which National Geographic video you ever see? I see monkey eating banana. I'm just trying to show you how we think is because the way that they have structured our minds. You know, so we just kind of go along with everything that we see on that level. You understand? So this is why, again, the education is important, you know, to reverse that way of thinking. And we have to get the young minds. We have to get the little ones. And this is why we have created, again, the International Homeschool Program. Really, you know, family, this is a very inexpensive program that I have here. So it's to show you that the main point is to get to the mind of the young ones, you know. So at least now, when they are developing and evolving, you can't just knock them in any old talk and they go for it, because they are wise in their mind. They have an Afrocentric mind. Listen, family, we live in a world today, right, where if a fella believes for some reason he wants to dress up like a woman, when you refer to him, it's almost like it's law that you're supposed to call him her. These are what they call transgender people. Remember, you know, they don't take no operation to change anything, and not even if they did, that doesn't make a difference. You could chop it off and you could dig a hole. That don't change a thing. A man and a woman is made up differently from the inside out. I don't care how much injections you take, how much pills you take, none of that. But society, just to show you how wicked society is, society has put it in such a way that if a person decides that they want to change the appearance of their gender by appearance, remember, they did nothing to themselves. The diaphragm, the whole makeup of the breathing system, the respiratory system of a man and a woman is different. You know, man don't have no womb. I mean, it's different. The different hormones that they release, they're different. They make up different. And because you change your wardrobe and put on some lipstick and fake hair in your hair, and I know that you're a fella, me and you used to go to school together, I'm supposed to refer to you as a she? I'm going to show how deep it is, my brother. Let's assume you were a journalist, right? And you work for one of these newspapers that pushing this agenda. And you were writing a story on some one of these kind of people there that pretending to be what they're not. And you know that it's a fella. And you write, and he was arrested. No, the boss can come in and say, no, you have to put she was arrested. Boss, listen, I know Leroy, you know, boss. I used to go to school with Leroy. He just, after a while, just started to go different. That's a he. I said, you got to put she. Listen, this is my newspaper. And if you put he, I'm going to be in trouble. So if you don't put what I tell you to put, you're fired. So you see how it even affects. That's the society we live in. That's the society we live in. Look, just the other day in Florida, they were what some people call the don't say gay bill or something. But what the bill is, it's in Florida, the senators were debating on. Let me get it straight. So they're restricting the schools. They're restricting the schools to teach, you know, anything about gender then. Let's put it that way. Before, I think it's the 3rd grade. anything like that has to do with homosexuality and that. So in Florida, and it's usually, I think, the Republicans who are pushing this, that they should stop and stop the teaching of this sort of sexuality then on that level there to children below the third grade or up to the third grade, something of the sort. But anyway, the point I'm making is that because of this, remember, they didn't pass the bill yet. They were considering it. And here what the bill is, to leave little babies out of the discussion for now. It's not like I celebrate in the bill, I don't see nothing to celebrate. It just shows me what a sick society this is. So let's not teach them about that until after the third grade. That's something that sounds good to you? No. But just to show you how sick our mind is, do you know that several schools in Florida were shut down the day that they were supposed to vote on the bill? Not the principals closed down the schools. The children in the schools protested against that bill. Hear me now, man. The bill didn't say to stop teaching across the board. The bill said, just give the little toddlers a chance to catch themselves. Then we put it on them after third grade. Schools, high schools in Florida closed down. The children walked out in protest of that bill. Children, schools empty. Wow, that is to show you where the mind of the child is today. The mind of these young teenagers, when a whole school, several schools could decide to leave school because their leaders were thinking about passing a bill that would demand you to stop teaching this kind of stuff to children before the third grade.
What?
Right, you've done. I could imagine if they were trying to drop it all together. So I'm just trying to show you the family. This is why we have to guard our youth. Very important. I mean, I'm not going to go too hard here, but my children understand that this thing is from the pit of nastiness, But anyway, I'm just showing you, family. This is why, again, as I'm showing you the different aspects of the international homeschool classes that we have. And again, it has been designed really to get to the mind of the young ones too. Definitely to expand the intelligence capacity, especially when it comes to the aspect of astronomy and even biology. And for sure, the African history and heritage. Again, we have our international children's book. When they become a part of the homeschool program, they get the electronic books for the young ones as well. As I said, they get their daily worksheet specifically that is sent out daily for them to, do their works. They have a direct correspondence with the dean of the university, which is the Honorable Empress Naya as well, who is also certified in many different subject areas. She herself is an international educator, independent educator as well, and has her masters, in history, as well as her bachelor's in language arts as well. So we're well secured here, family, at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. And we're certified to give out certificates. So when the children are done with the program, they get their certification as well. And something that they would delight in. So as you could see, this is the work that we're into. I'm just showing you, I must say, I think I would have misplaced the names here, but this is just an example of some of the works that some of our students would have done. These are from some astronomy classes for sure. Basically, this is just one of the projects that I would have asked them to. as it relates to, it's just highlighting the different planets and, of course, the solar system. This is one of the earlier projects that you will get when you are a part of the astronomy classes. So just highlighting, this is one of the main aspects of the Priest Isaacs Institute of Holistic Knowledge, our international homeschool program family. Definitely, I can say for sure that it is something that even the young ones would delight in, and for sure as a parent, you will definitely appreciate the levels that they would be, attaining to. As I said before, it is not this homeschool program that we offer for the moment. It's not a substitute for whatever educational system that you're already in, but it is a supplement. As you can see, we only offer, I wouldn't use the term only, but we offer 4 subject areas at the moment. Key subject areas too: Afrocentricity and history. That is totally void in most schools, if you find it in almost any, unless it's a revolutionary school. Astronomy, unless it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you ain't gonna get nothing there. Of course, biology is there, but you're not gonna find us giving biology. I'm telling you, we're teaching 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds about the skeletal system, and they can tell you the different bones, even if it's their first words. They can tell you the how many bones in the skull again? 8 cranial bone and 14 facial bones. Well, that's my princess there, but she's not a toddler. But I can tell you, she was saying that as a toddler. So you don't have to begin with goo goo gaga. Like goo goo gaga gaga. Goo goo goo. No, you have to begin with, no man, that's foolishness. Who teaches to talk to them like that? You can talk to them the way you want them to talk back to you. And the first word the child would speak is, the atmospheric pressure today is, and you say, what? Yeah, because of what you put into them. You understand? So it's a whole revolutionary system that we have here, my brother, and I really appreciate the opportunity to introduce that to them. Now I want to talk about this before we get to that. I don't know if I specifically want to ask any question as it relates to this. As you can see, family, as I just showed, our international website is priestisaacinstitute.com. Priest Isaac, and Isaac has 2 A's, please. I mean, many people spell it with 2 S's and 1 A. I'm just telling you, I don't know why it happens. I never saw it so anywhere else. But Priest Isaac Institute, no apostrophe S's.com. And our email is priestisaacinstitute at gmail.com. Priest Isaac, not the, just Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. That is the email. So you can email us. In fact, family, you can get a free viewing of any of the classes that you desire. So if you want your children to be a part of the African History and Heritage Astronomy class, because those two definitely go together. They were prepared as a team, But don't worry. It's a very inexpensive program. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised when you hear. But the point I'm making is that if you want to see, you could contact me or contact us, I should say, and say, hey, listen, I want to get a viewing of the astronomy class. Show me one. Let me see what it's all about. We'll give you a free sample of the biology class, of the African History and Heritage class, so you can see for sure, if you want to, get a better idea of what the young ones will be seeing, and let them watch it with you and see how they react to it. And of course, family, trust me, it's a very inexpensive investment to make in the psychology of your young ones. So just contact us. You could also give us a call to WhatsApp us, area code. To get us, you got to put 1 in front of the area code, 268-728-8289. All the information is right there. Yes, brother, every time. Anything on the fireboard that you want to see?
Priest, talk a little bit about it's really trivial. Give our people some understanding, overstanding, and context of what we saw on the Grammys in the reggae category of the white American group winning the award. What does that say about reggae today?
Well, I actually didn't. It's okay. I actually didn't see it, but I could tell you for sure. It still comes down to when you how should I put it now? When you balance off Rastafari culture in general, Of course, I'm not one to say that um, Rastafari is reggae, and Rastafari is a very unique cosmos, but nobody can deny that reggae come out of Rastafari. You understand? But just like many other things, my lord, and that is, we kind of get into that when we go into the picture I showed you with the so-called royal couple. Everything has been taken from Rastafari that we have been beaten for, that we have been ostracized for, that we have been killed for. Commanders get blow for listening reggae music, Yeah, police and running. What going on here? What going on here? Police, no, man. Reggae music. Herb, marijuana. Look at the whole world now with marijuana. Medical marijuana, CBD, and all of that kind of stuff. And then now, what you have now, you have what you call it, even our colors, red, gold, and green. The reggae industry itself. Keep in mind, Jamaica have a very interesting Chinese population. Enough Jamaican mixed with Chinese too. That one's not aware of it, but still, that Chinese influx that was brought there. When that was, it was the 30s. Can't remember exactly when it was, but if you notice, or you can call them Asians, it's them that run the whole reggae business too. It's them that run the whole even dance hall industry. So in the same way that our natural minerals are being exploited, in the same way the caterpillar get exploited and the worm get the credit. The same thing, is the same thing on different levels. Is the same way that Africa feed the world, and Africa is the poorest country. Yeah, and the poorest continent, and this country is the poorest, and that is the poorest. The Congo, I think the Congo's contribution to the industrial world is more than almost any other country in the world. If there's another country close to the Congo, you have to be a next country in Africa. And I don't even think another country in Africa has given that level of minerals and wealth to the world from even the time of Leopold II, like the Congo. But then again, the Congo is left with nothing. The Congo, when you go, wow. When it comes to our people that are still suffering, because of the aftermath of slavery and colonialism, Congo is one of them places, and that's just the reality of it. So, as I said, you have the macro level, you have the micro level, but what you saw mirrored there at the Grammy as such is the same thing. Black Uhuru, I think earlier me and you were speaking, and he said Don Carlos. Didn't Junior Reid also? I think with Black Uhuru.
Maybe that's who it was, sir. Yes.
Okay, I think it was Junior Reid. Yeah, I think he used to call himself the Grammy Kid, at a specific time. But you're saying that he would just take the Grammy thing and keep like a door
knocker to keep the door cracked open. So evidently he didn't give any value in their Grammy awards. In terms of looking at itself, looking at them to give him validation for who he already is.
Yes, you see, we give to the world what is happening there, my brother. And you're kind of looking at it on a very futuristic level. We give the world jazz, we give the world rock and roll, we give the world even what you call it there, the blues, we give the world hip hop, We give the world even calypso. Calypso itself, as what we used to call Benna music, really began as message sending in an esoteric form. If you listen to the song for Sparrow, I am a slave. I am a slave from a land so far. But if you know the song, in the song he tells you that when they were on the plantation and, you know what I mean, the old slave master, he didn't like the, you know, when he hear them talking to one another, and he would listen, and when they say the wrong thing and do the wrong thing, they whip them and all of that. So they had to start to send messages in coded form and say things that really, you know, if you were not a part of the clique, you wouldn't understand. And in the song, he says, and that is how Calypso was born, you know. So that is why Calypso, although most of the time is very smutty, but that is why its message is always in an allegorical, metaphorical way, because it was a way of sending messages in a secret code. Calypso, same rum get you drunk calypso that people bacchanal today was started in that way. You understand? So when you check music in general, almost everything that is called a genre of music came out of us, but eventually just got taken away. Even if it's classical music and and Beethoven, you know, Beethoven is a black man. Who else is a black? Bacchanal black too, but I know Beethoven is a black man too. Pushkin, Alexander Pushkin, the poet. So basically, all of our art and expressions have been definitely hijacked, and that is why it comes down to Rastafari too. It has been hijacked in many ways. The marijuana, even down to the locks. I just tell you, man, get ostracized, beaten, and all sort of things for the locks. And that is because maybe we're not good guardians of our culture. And then now, as you're speaking of Grammy and reggae and all of that, in a sense, it somewhat brings us back to this. Because in a sense, this is exactly what you just said, to some degree, you know, maybe on another level. And but this one is a terrible shame, eh? Because this one is a terrible, terrible shame. This one is on a different level altogether. Remember, you know, maybe everyone in your audience may not know, I have a channel called Nyabinghi Drums. You see, the Nyabinghi drums are weapons. We as Rastafari, we consider the drums as weapons. Just like somebody have a weapon, the Nyabinghi drum is a weapon. So we used it to kill the wicked. You understand? Not the guitar, you know. The Nyabinghi drums is the weapons. Nyabinghi is one of the fiercest warriors. Warrior says, what Nyabinghi name, princess? Mahamosa. Where's she from?
Uganda.
Mahamosa from Uganda, who we call Queen Nyabinghi. You understand? They used to beat them terrible drums as well. Now, what I'm saying still, you know, I'm sure I played a Muta Baruka earlier. And Muta Baruka is one of them mans I'm sure you would have heard Muta speak of on different occasions, maybe like, so why is it the woman can't play the drum in the Nyabinghi church? You understand? Okay. That's a different reasoning altogether, you know. But what I'm saying, but it's true. In the Nyabinghi theocracy order, the playing of the instrument, not that a woman can't play a drum, don't get the thing way off. But in the churchical order, just like you have positions for everybody, because one thing we can't lose this and try to follow Babylon. You know, Babylon have its own mentality and this mix-up thing. We're not in no mix-up thing. You know, there's a role for a man and there's a role for a woman. You may disagree what the roles may be, but we have to understand there's a role for a man and a role for a woman. You understand? We live in a world now, they want a man to get pregnant and have a baby too. I don't know where he pushing it out. You see, but that's where we live. So, but I'm saying now, I'm just saying this, family. that the woman don't play the drums in the churchical order. And go Rasta woman, you know, the Rasta woman that well covered down. All you may see is her fingernails and her toes. And she have on the longest skirt. And she chanting there, mama. That chanting for years. She done gray down. Even have a little beard growing like a man because how old and ancient she be. She can't beat the drum. And this here, remember, you have to understand who these people be. No matter how broad the smile is. What is this? Do we understand who these people are? Do we understand where they're coming from to come touch them drums here? Did she sign a paper to say that she is not on her menstrual cycle? Yeah. She could have had on a pad right here as we speak. Yeah. That's how the world runs. And be playing the sacred Nyabingi drums. These are not regular people, Rasta. We have to remember, even though when we're talking about reparation and all of that, we have to remember we're dealing with people that drink blood out of skull and so on. All right, good. I wouldn't go too much further with that. Now, this was about a month ago. And just a few days ago, there was another royal visit running through here. His uncle, which is Prince Edward, the youngest son of Queen Elizabeth, and his wife was right here in Antigua, and pumping and ceremony and how much salute and baba gunshot, and they were wined and dined, you know, and all the people came out in their slave days dress and they danced for them. You understand? You see, this is why we need Afrocentric education. You know, because in the Caribbean, we have a reparation commission. The reparation commission would have written a letter. Sorry, I didn't mean a note by disrespect. A letter. Because I found it quite a sharp letter too. Although I think it was lacking many things. But yeah, but they wrote a letter to the prince that came here a few days ago concerning reparation. All right. Now, as I said earlier, reparation, the beginning of reparation is with us. We are the ones that have to start the process of repairing the nation. I am not saying that you don't press for reparatory justice. I am all for it. But as a Rastaman, Rastafari, I could tell you that the reparation struggle of today is a strongly is not the word, is a watered down version. I was going to say strongly watered down, but a seriously watered down version of the Rastaman fight for freedom, redemption, and international repatriation. Repatriation is actually, you know, something that is totally off of the reparation consideration. They don't think about that. You know what reparation is? Scholarships to go to the same universities that were built off of the backs of slavery. Scholarship to go to the same universities that was built off of the backs of slavery. You know, there's something I have here that I wanted to read. I am not sharing it as such. Yeah, okay, just give me a second there. Yes, so as I'm saying now, as far as, yes, let me just give you that picture for the moment there. But I'm going to read something here just quickly before we move on to the next quick subject here. Anytime you think I've been here long enough, you could tell me. I'm going to read something here quickly.
Teach, priest.
Yeah. First of all, this is something I'm reading from Reuters. The reason why I'm not sharing it on screen, because I know sometimes these things have a funny way of backfiring because it's Reuters. I'm going to share something from MSNBC and, you know, copyright and all of that. So it might eventually catch up. So I'm just reading it. And it says here, this is 26th of April. This is just 2 days ago. Harvard University sets up $100 million endowment fund for slavery reparation. Now, many would not know it, but Harvard University, the law wing of Harvard University was set up by an individual, a slave master, plantation owner, as they call him, from Antigua by the name of Isaac Royal. That's his name. So Royal now, you know, most of the people you hear Royal would have come from his plantation. So this Mr. Royal took some of his earnings from obviously the slave, the sweat and blood of the slaves, and he established the Law University at Harvard. That's how it was established. This is why the Prime Minister of Antigua would have already written to the Law University of Harvard, you know, advocating for reparatory justice. All right. It says here, Harvard University is setting aside $100 million of an endowment fund and other measures to close the educational, social, and economic gaps that are legacies of slavery and racism. According to an email the university's president sent to all students, faculty, and staff on Tuesday. The email from Harvard President Lawrence Bacow included a link, I like this, Lawrence Bacow included a link to a 100-page report, try to make the thing complicated, by his university's 14-member committee on Harvard and the legacy of slavery. The panel was chaired by Tomiko Brown Nagin, a legal historian and constitutional law expert who is dean of Harvard's interdisciplinary Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study. The email and report were released to Reuters. Okay, there's more there, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Okay, so Harvard set up $100 million endowment fund for slavery reparation. $100 million. Now, of course, you know the argument of who will get reparations, how they're going to give it out, if they're going to give it to one person and all of that. These are things that usually come up for the discussion. But that's not where I'm going here, because that's almost another discussion, and that might take some time to even start to explain like who's getting what and what it should really be and all of that. As I said, freedom of movement is like the main thing when it comes to Rastafari. When King Emmanuel started to chant for our repatriation, it wasn't just this go home thing as people have it, you know. In the United Nations Charter and the Declaration of Human Rights, each individual is given the rights of freedom of movement and freedom of nationality. So even us, as everybody know, we don't have to take no ancestry.com test. Everyone know that we are Africans. Everyone in the world is a consensus that we are, quote unquote, the descendants of Africa. To be honest, there's only a few amongst us, only a few of the so-called woke people amongst us who have somewhat got disoriented in some degree and now separating themselves from Africa. Yeah, there are many black people for one reason or the other tell you that they are not Africans. You know, some of them will tell you that no slavery ever happened. You know, and they're Indians too. Oh, I definitely agree that we have been here before slavery. I'm not saying slavery is what brought us to them parts of the world. I mean, the earth is the Lord, that we run the planet. But that doesn't take away, and we're not the Redskin Indians neither, but that doesn't take away from the reality that a great atrocity was done to us. We can't run from that. That's just the reality of it. So this $100 million endowment, wow. What is $100 million? What is $100 million? You know how much a jet plane costs? What is $100 million? What are you talking about? For which reparation? To me, that's an insult. $100 million for slavery reparations? That's a Gulf Stream plus. You talking madness, Rasta. And now I know there's some people that may be listening and say, so what do you expect? What do I expect? Listen to this one now. Let me show you what I expect. This is coming from CNBC. And this is not even what I expect, but I'm just trying to show you the call. I'm just trying to show you how the agenda is crooked. Hear this here. President Joe Biden, hear this here. President Joe Biden asks Congress for $33 billion to support Ukraine through September. Now tell me, $33 billion. How long the Ukraine thing going on? Since last month or sometime yesterday. And you asking Congress for $33 billion with a B. Pardon me. And we talking about $100 million. One person money. Them is one person money. Them is one, every time, I don't know how your bank account looking, but you supposed to have $100 million with ease. What is $100 million? That is money. $100 million is a one-man money. What is $100 million? That's a house. And Harvard University, built on the backs of slaves. Built on the backs of slaves. Have some little endowment fund. And here with it name, some fund too is a fund. Some fund, endowment fund, all sorts of slick names they give it for a little measly crumb of $100 million. What is that? We're supposed to be in a position where we said, well, keep that. It's all right. You may need it more than us. And now the president is asking the Congress for $33 billion for liquor Ukraine. But I know some people maybe say, maybe not your audience, but no, brother, Ukraine is really going through, Ukraine going through what? It's not, me personally, I don't really like to, when you see brothers and brothers at it, sometimes you gotta leave them alone because sometimes it's a game they play into. I don't trust them at all. I never trust no US and Russia business. Never. I'm a student of history. When America don't like you, they step back and take away all, they stop funding you, they stop sending you help, they stop trading with you, embargo and sanctions on you. All right. We'll get some help from the Russians. And then the Russians say, oh, yes, we'll help you. We'll build an airport for you. Then America look back. They're building an airport down there in Grenada. They must be going to, encourage Russian air fighter jets. Mr. Reagan, we got to kill Morris Bishop. Patrice Lumumba came to the USA trying to, become friends. They called him the jungle premier. And because they couldn't dig out the gold from Congo, remember Patrice Lumumba run Congo, Congo. Yo, the head of Congo has to be a Pinocchio, or else it will not work. A puppet, or else it would not work. And that was not Patrice Lumumba. Remember when King Baudouin which was the great-grandson or something like that, or great-grandnephew of Leopold II. Leopold II is the real barbarian that was chopping off brethren's hands and sister's hands like nothing because they would not bring enough rubber to put on the road for them tires. That's why when you observe all the tires on the road, you must understand the history of rubber and how many hands were lost just for rubber. Yeah. So that's how Leopold from after the Berlin Conference, Leopold was given Congo. I think his deal was different than any other killer's deal. He was the owner of Congo. He personally, Leopold II. And his great-grandnephew or whatever Baudouin was at the independence of Congo in 1960 on the 30th of June, he made a speech. This is the king of Belgium at the time, the great-grandson of the killer Leopold. He made a speech saying this is the fulfillment of the great dream of Uncle Leopold, or whatever Leopold is to him. So he was trying to say that the independence of Congo was, like a crowning moment of the colonization of Congo, and it was all a part of the plot. Do you know, according to the history, Patrice Lumumba was not supposed to speak. And they say that Patrice Lumumba got up and went to speak. And in his speech, he clearly said, well, listen to me. All of what King Baudouin just said is really a lie, because it is us here in the Congo that fought for our own liberation. Many of us died in the prisons. Many of us died on the battlefield, but we now have won our independence, and we did it by ourselves. That was Patrice Lumumba's words. Do you know that Mr. Patrice Lumumba did not last 200 days after that? You understand? There's a documentary out there that speaks of the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. I think it was done by the Discovery Channel or one of these channels. And they're saying clearly in the documentary, all the killers were interviewed, all the killers. I'm not making it up. You have people like Larry Devlin. He was the CIA operative, You have Colonel, the one from Belgium, Colonel Melier, These individuals clearly told you that they were paid to go and take out Patrice Lumumba. That was the job. And they went forward and did what they had to do. And they were interviewed. I think Devlin's still alive. Here we name Devlin. Eh? So I'm just trying to show you that Patrice Lumumba said he was not communist. Maurice Bishop said, hey, look, I'm not a neutral person. I want to have a relationship with you. Maurice Bishop went to America. The president didn't see him. Patrice Lumumba went to America. They didn't see him too. You know why? Because these brothers were taking the resources of their own land and giving it to their people. They were not giving it to America. And America didn't like that. So then Russia come in and say, hey, Patrice, they turn their back on you? Come on, man, I'll give you something to eat. And then America say, hey, look, they're giving Patrice something. The communists? Yes. Oh, no, we can't have that. And then they go on, well, the jungle premier is teaming up with the communists. And if he does that, the whole world is going to blow up in 2 pieces. So we got to go and kill him. And that's how it works. And I'm saying all that to say, this is why, as I said, when I see them brothers fighting against each other, I'm not impressed. I don't believe, sometimes I think it's all a game. Really, even what's going on there now, even if it's not a game on that level, I don't want to disrespect reality, even if it's not a game on that level. But still, history teaches us from 1990 and 91 and so. Ronald Reagan and Pope 91 or 81, when they broke up the Russian Federation there, the Soviet Union and all of that kind of business there, because they only wanted one superpower. Listen, you know how they have Hitler as he's the worst thing in the world, right? Remember, during World War II, Hitler was just going back for what they took from Hitler during World War One, or from Germany during World War One. Is they make Hitler this great devil? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's a bigger devil than they say. But what I'm saying is that he's not no bigger devil than the rest of them. At all. Any one of them you call, even the nicest of them that grin and smile and hey, and play saxophone for you. They may be a bigger devil than the Hitler that they want to make a devil. Right.
What?
So it's the same thing now with even the Russia thing. They break up the Soviet Union, They don't tell us the whole story. We don't fully, they take RT, Russian television, off of the whole internet. You can't get no proper Russian news now. I don't see nothing wrong with RT. RT just bring you the proper news from the Russian point of view. We not getting the real Russian side here. And then those of us in the Caribbean, we have news agencies that just regurgitate what CNN say, what NBC say, and what Fox say. Even though the Fox may look like it fighting the peacock, there's certain areas where they run the same line, believe me. So the point I'm making is that now, coming right back to what Joe Biden asking about there. So he gonna take $33 billion to go help Ukraine. What is that? $33 billion. And remember, not that I'm not a humanitarian, but the Ukraine business was war, right? War is not like how they make us feel. Any war you see going on, just believe they have a set of people funding both sides of the war. I think we know that by now, I don't think we're that off. Most of us have to understand this. And we know who they are. It's more than just the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and these people. It gone to another level now. They have people, family, they have people, right, that when you see somebody jump on you and start to attack you, okay, like how they say Russia attacking Ukraine. So now Ukraine may not be, I'm using this as an example, Ukraine may not be in the position really now to defend itself against Russia the way it wants to. You may be saying, oh, we're for Ukraine, and the leaders may be saying we got to stand with Ukraine and all of that. For Ukraine to really get help, you know what Ukraine have to do? Ukraine have to go and borrow money, man. When somebody attack you in war, nobody coming to help you, you have to find finances to defend yourself. So the same people are saying, oh, well, we're standing with Ukraine. Ukraine, I'm with you. How much you want to borrow? And Ukraine say, well, I want X amount of dollars. Here, there is it. Take it. All right. I'm going to buy some tanks and some planes. Oh, it's all right. You don't have to go that far. I'm selling it too. So the same people you're borrowing money from is the same people that have the manufacturing capability to be bringing out warships and fighter jets and tanks and nuclear weapons and all of that. That's how the world runs. That's how the world runs. Even the same Jews that they say Hitler be burning up is them fellas what were even supporting Hitler. Listen, I have to be careful what I'm saying on the challenge the family, because just the other day they took down a video I did on 9/11. 9/11, it was up for a while and they just took it down and gave me a note and said, well, this is not in accordance to our belief. What do you mean that is not in accordance to your belief? Yo, you're the one that said the plane run into the Pentagon 4 feet off the ground. That's what I'm telling you. They say that, 4 feet off the ground and this plane hit the Pentagon. You can't find no part of the plane. You can't find nobody. Grass still on the ground where the plane hit. 4 feet off the ground, a 747 or 57, 747. Where it hit, it left a hole 18 feet in length and 18 feet wide. Remember, the wingspan of a 747 is like 147 feet. The tail is like about 46 feet going up in the air. And then it left a hole smaller than the nose. And you still can't find no part of the plane. The Pentagon still standing. Grass still on the floor. that makes sense to anybody. This is what I'm trying to show you now. And we fall for this. We believe this. That is something else. Yeah? They take down the video. They take the video down. They say the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, right? They say, right, the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, that's the first time in history a plane ever crashed. And you can't find no part of the plane, and you know where it crashed. Check the history book. It's the first time. Do you know the first time that a steel building ever collapsed because of fire was on September 11, 2001. And interestingly, it wasn't one steel building. In a sense, it was 3 steel buildings, because it's not just the 2 tower that fell. There was a 3rd building that fell the afternoon, the Solomon 7 building. No plane hit that, but it fell the same way. I saw that when it fell, I was watching CNN. I remember however old I was at that time. And the 3rd building fell the same way, demolition style, like the other 2 buildings that the plane ran into. And this is the first time in history that a steel building ever fell because of fire. And these steel buildings were built to withstand fire, plane crash. 100 planes could have run into them buildings. They're not supposed to fall, according to the engineers, And then again, there's this other level that most of us don't touch, The second plane was not the American airline. The plane that they say hit the Pentagon was not no plane. And the one that crashed in Pennsylvania that leave the little black hole, that wasn't it at all. So hear this, this is a more important point than the other points. What become of those planes? Where did they really go? Where did they really go? You understand? And the same people that encourage this kind of stuff all of a sudden just come and say, well, if you want to be safe, you got to take this shot, because we all are going to die now. Keep your mask on your face now. These are the same people that say these things. You understand? And this is why, we still on the whole vibes, as I was speaking about, as it relates to reparation and the repairing of the nation. So this is why, even the whole aspect of, education is very important. What you see me doing, like with the international homeschool program, it's the first step in it's the first step in repairing the nation, giving our people a good understanding and comprehension about we are from.
Priest, you're breaking up a little bit. Your voice choppy.
Yeah, breaking up a bit.
Now I hear you. I hear you now.
Okay. Pardon me for that. But yeah, I was just highlighting that really to show you the difference with what Joe Biden asking for Ukraine, and what Harvard said that they're storing away for slavery. I don't know who they give it that $100 million to, how much people they can share that with. You understand? That can't even share among the executives. Just to show you the level of insult, added to injury as it relates to even the whole aspect of the international cry for justice from the travesty of slavery. Yes, my brother, I know I said so many things, boy. Wow. How are we looking?
Beautiful, Priest. You on it.
Yes, I give thanks. Yeah, man. So you can see here all of this is giving idea of what we as a people went through. It looking like this. This is like the fact that is a picture that this is not extreme slavery. It is yesterday. And this is yesterday. And depending on where our mind is, this is also tomorrow. Some of these little brats you're looking at here, some of these little Dennis the Menaces here, some of them are still alive, rocking in the old rocking chair. And they'll see you today and say, how is it, Sonny? Oh, thanks for delivering the mail. And you don't even know what wicked past they come from. You understand? That's just the reality of it. Oh man, you can see the horror and the terror that we even went through as a people, and this is the stain that is, still on our mind, even up until this time. So this is where they want to start our education from. But that's not where we start. Even in our international homeschool program, we spend a little time on this because it's necessary. But we make sure that the family understand the greatness of where they came from, that they are definitely a wonderful and refined people. Yes, Jah Rastafari. My Lord, I wanted to go into a next level tonight, but I'm going to save it for when we come again, because we can do it again, even if it's next week sometime. I really want to go into the link with ancient Freemasonry with the ancient science and how it even trickled down today and where it really comes from, and its connection to nature, but that will take some time. I know we are already on about almost an hour and a half, going on to 2 hours. So I vibes we're going to soon be kind of landing the plane. So I don't want to start it, because that alone is an hour within itself. And I would save that for another time. And I can promise for sure, even next strong sometime, we could do it again, once you have that time.
Anytime, priest. This your house, brother. Thank you so much for coming and blessing the family of Baba TV. It's good to see you as always, and shout out to Choo Choo, Brother Buki, and a few other of my brothers in Antigua. They keep talking about I gotta come to the carnival. In Antigua, so price is high now, but I gotta get there. I gotta stop procrastinating, and I have to get over there and holler at my priest and the family.
Definitely. But you say the prices are high. You mean tickets?
Yeah, right now with everything is up now.
I haven't really checked that. But hey, let me say something here. I'm glad you said that, and I'm not really kicking over a carnival bucket there. But before the carnival, we will be having our summer solstice experience. And I could maybe seal up with this here. I wouldn't stay too long. Our summer solstice experience really is surrounded the whole aspect of the works that we've been doing on Greencastle Hill. So this experience here, the reason why I brought this up, since you said everything is expensive, what it is, every year during the time of the summer solstice, we invite the international community, our brothers, our sisters. In general, we send it out, people that we don't even know really, to come and join us here in Antigua to spend time with us. And this year, we will be doing it for 7 days. Sometimes we do it for 3, 5, depending on when the summer solstice or the winter solstice or the equinoxes will fall. So really, Greencastle Hill, just quickly, for those who may not know, Greencastle Hill is a hill in Antigua, here in Antigua in the Caribbean. And it's a hill that is very outstanding. It's about 600 feet high, a very large real estate. Not a mountain, it's a hill, but it's still a good climb. But the hill is unique to the point that it has countless of megalithic rocks. These are volcanic rocks that protrude out of the hill, just like the trees come out of the same hill. Just like you see the fever grass coming out of the hill, is the same way that the rocks protrude out of the hill. There are countless of rocks, not 10 big rocks, not about 50 large rocks. There are countless of rocks in different shapes, shades to shape and sizes, and have different meaning. Like what you're looking at here is the phallic stone. This is the penis of Geb coming out of the earth, or the lost penis of Osiris. I'm telling you, it's the phallic stone. It aligns with the vulva the Vulva Stones, which is where my brethren Rastri, this is my business partner in Rastafari Experience Antigua. He's coming through the Vulva Stone, which represents the reproductive system of the woman, and the phallic stone represents the reproductive system of the man. Yeah, this is how the hill is set up. Green Castle Hill has countless of these megaliths, just coming out of the earth. Some of them are in the shape of thrones. We have several thrones up there on the hill as well, just naturally coming out of the earth. So what it is, this is also a hill that is being destroyed. Where you see me here, I'm on the destruction side. Don't worry, it's only about, I don't think 1/5 of the hill really has been destroyed as yet. They've been working at it since 1963 under the guise of a quarry company, making aggregates so that we can have a place to live. But why destroy this hill? This hill is so unique. There's almost no other place on the planet like this. The closest thing is the range of mountains in Zimbabwe. They call them Adobo Mountains, And just to show you that there's a similarity with both mountains is that at the top of the Madobo Mountains, also called the Matoba Mountains, there's the grave of that great killer and wicked beast Cecil Rhodes. That is in Zimbabwe there. So what happened is that Cecil Rhodes got his subordinates to bury him there when he died. In the same way as he did that in Antigua, at the top of Green Castle Hill, there is a grave. And the grave is the grave of one of the former colonial governors from England, one Oliver Risdale, also known as the Earl of Baldwin. You understand? So I'm just showing you that both Earl of Baldwin and Cecil Rhodes, who both of them basically had the same position, they were colonial masters, they had an inclination, they had an understanding of the importance of these hills and mountains. So Governor Baldwin obviously understood, because they brought astronomers here and archaeologists here too, to study the rocks. This is in the 1950s thereabout. Forrest and these one from Britain came and studied these rocks. Maura Imbert, which is an archaeoastronomer from the University of the West Indies in Trinidad, she came and did some serious works on this hill. This is after Baldwin's time, by the way. And she made a lot of alignments with a lot of these rocks and the astronomical clock of the heavens and the solstice and the equinox, etc. So this is just like the pyramids of Egypt that align with the Orion star. This is like the Ramesses temple and Abu Simbel, and so that align with specific times of the year. This is like the Aket and Akhenaten's temples that align with the setting of the sun. But the thing is that the hill is a natural hill. Beautiful sight, beautiful sunset, beautiful sunrise, beautiful megaliths, as I said, protruding out of the earth, Green Castle Hill. So what we do, we organize the solstice, invite people to come from wherever you are, just like you'll take a vacation to wherever you go, Disneyland or France or Italy. You could take a vacation and come and visit us here in Antigua in the Caribbean. So the same thing that they say the Caribbean offer, sun, sea, and sand, you're getting all of that, but you're getting something special as well. You're going to be experiencing the Stonehenge of the Caribbean, Green Castle Hill. So my brother, is 7 days, it's from Friday the 17th of June to Friday the 24th day of June. It's going to begin, with a meet and greet. Let me just let the family know everything is really all inclusive. Your accommodations for sure. When you contact us, you'll get all the detail. Pristine accommodations for sure. There's no one that will not be comfortable. Of course, you would have to make sure you're set for, your ticket, organize yourself, make sure you make time. But if you are employed, you would have to, I guess, get time from off of work, whatever the case is. As I told Baba every time earlier, you can even contact us, Baba every time. If you're coming on this hike or coming on this experience, and we can, connect you with specific, what you call them, travel agencies. We have a connection with specific travel agencies, which will get you the best price for for your traveling to come to Antigua. That's for sure. Unless you can get a better one somewhere else, well, all powers to you. But if not, we have travel agencies that we are working with specifically for our experience. So anybody that say, hey, I would like to go down to Antigua, I would like to spend 7 days with the Rastafari, because it's a Rastafari experience, you know. Baba, you have to come for Trinidad, because we're going to have the cannabis tour. Eh? We're going to the Sabbath service amongst the Bobo Shanti the first Saturday that you come. That same evening, the Saturday evening, we're going to have a wonderful lecture headed off by our very own griot, Brother Paddy Simon. He knows the history of Antigua. The next day, which will be Sunday, the 19th, that is the day that we're going to have the sunset hike and the star night watch. So we're going to be watching the stars as they come out. I'll be pointing them out to everyone who's there with us and show you specific stars that align with specific rocks on the hill. It's going to be deep after the sunset. It's going to be wonderful. That same morning before the sunset hike, we're going to have yoga on the beach. And so you'll be able to, take in the beach plus take in the yoga. The 20th, which is the Monday the 20th, that is the day we're going to have the island tour, where we're going to go all around the island and everyone will see the different historical sites. We're going to visit the Nyabingi camp. We're going to have some idle sip at the Nyabingi camp. We're going to have the cannabis tour. So we're going to go through all the different fields and you see all the ganja and everything is going to be there, because you got to keep in mind, no need to be afraid. I know some people will say, what? No, we can't go there. We're going to get it. No. Hold on. Then maybe you don't know, right? Of course, marijuana, just like in many places in the U.S., have been decriminalized on the different levels. Well, in Antigua, you are allowed to have, I think it's 15 grams or something like that, and 4 trees. Now, the reason why I think is because that's not my world. 15 grams, you got to be kidding me. Grams. But anyway, and 4 trees. But the Rastafari community, this is law. This is in law. The Rastafari community is immune from persecution and prosecution as it relates to cultivating and utilizing the marijuana. So even if you're not Rastafari and you come amongst us and you're in our perimeters, you're safe. The police can come and trouble you. In fact, police come and you want to know what the police come for. You're right. Even police come and feel good and can take off the boots and, yeah, man, wrap up one for me, King. I'm not lying, So you don't have to worry about that. In fact, it's almost like a joy to know you're leaving where you're leaving, and you can come where you can, sit and be amongst all the different grades, because it's the highest grades we have here to it. Trust me. So you have the cannabis tour, the chalice talk. We're going to have the yoga retreat. That will be the Thursday before you fly out. That's a whole day retreat that will be conducted by the Honorable Empress Naya, who is also a yogi specialist as well. She's a yoga practitioner and so many different things, And then we're going to have a media day as well. We're going to have a morning hike as well, too. Not just the evening star night hike, but we're going to have a morning hike on the Solstice day, which is Wednesday the 21st, when we'll observe the rising of the sun and can see the stones that it aligns with and these different things. So, yes, family. So those of you who would like to be a part of this experience, it's a very simple thing to do. Again, just contact me, priestIsaacInstitute@gmail.com. We'll give you the itinerary. I know I just explained it, but in more detail, of course, the prices outside of your accommodation, and we'll be providing all of your meals as well, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all vegan, all fully ITAL as well. And of course, I can tell you that the experience is very inexpensive. Very, very inexpensive. Trust me. So it's a vacation you're coming on. Some of you plan for years for a vacation. I'm giving you a very inexpensive vacation, even to the point that we're trying to break down your ticket flight and looking for the best accommodation for you at the best price. So at least as much as our brothers and sisters that can come will come. Family, what I would invite them to do, Brother Baba, every time, I have a book entitled Anu, Ancient and Modern. Again, if you visit the website and you go to the shop area, this is an area called shop, and you scroll down, you see all the different items. I have a lot of different videos, online lectures that we have done that you'd love to hear and see. But we have the book. This is the first book I ever wrote, entitled Anu, Ancient and Modern. It is now in ebook form. It is Anu, Ancient and Modern Revisited. And within this book, I speak about Greencastle Hill, give you a better understanding of Greencastle Hill. And if you visit my YouTube site, if you visit me on YouTube, just type in Priest Isaac, Greencastle Hill, and you'll get a better understanding of the depths of how important Greencastle Hill is. Or again, as I said, just contact me now, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com, and we give you more information on the upcoming event. Yes, my Lord. Give thanks for giving me the opportunity to highlight that. Again, that also was not really a part of the script, but I appreciate it still very, very much so. And yes, since you sparked that, it will be nice if you come for this. And if you're really serious about the carnival, you can just stay for a little while. Carnival is like 3 weeks after this.
Yes, I don't know how, Priest, I forgot to talk or to ask you to talk about Castle Hill. As many, I gotta come to that first, and then the carnival some other time. Absolutely, sir. I want to give a shout out to Ross Israel in Washington, D.C. Priest Isaac. I don't want to forget about none of the family.
That's his children.
Yeah, right. Yes. He's been there too, right?
Yes. That was when he was there with his children, but I just didn't have any picture with him up there a moment ago.
Oh, that's his pitney. Oh.
Yeah,
all right.
Quickly, especially if they're watching, big up the man, Ras Israel Dyer, Dubtronics in full effect. Let me see which one is. Yeah, this is two of his sons here, this brother and this one here, and this little one here is his. That's Ras Israel Youth. I think he would have been the one who wanted the picture. Yeah. And this is one of my favorite stones. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Give thanks so much. Give thanks. Really appreciate it all.
Yes. All right, Priest. I want to take us on out with this mighty and powerful right here from Antigua. His remains were laid to rest in Antigua. People talk about St. Croix and he's from St. Croix, but really, as I said in the beginning, he's the original man, and he's from the beginning, and he's from the mother continent, above and beyond. If you go on Priest Isaac's channel, he did a whole thing I think it was a few years ago on Midnight, and the priest went in. So on that note, Priest, thank you so much. Shout out to your family. Shout out to the whole family of Antigua and the original people of the universe. And we want to end this off with Midnight, and this one says, White Collar Criminal.
White collar.
Them is your lucky and your crony. Only from resistance you're gonna know me. The shock out of the lion made truly. In the furrows of country. In the furrows of country. Yeah. Hey. Oh. White collar criminal. Blue collar Krishna. All your decimation, inclination. You take Kali out of India. The feminine emblem. Send the best cultivator. Still, make up your barraca. Giving up your culture for cancer. Living their life on the them and I just can't turn around trip. Living in a comfortable scavenger vibes, mud don't cause big to feel sick. Every day they must put on the clown face, so now them accustomed to playing tricks. I'm not riding along on your quicksand pace, I don't feel at home in it. White collar criminal, blue collar Krishna, all your decimation, inclination. You take a lead out of India, the feminine emblem, send the best cultivator, still make up your barraca, giving up your culture for cancer. Well, I don't think you know about none of the two Ethiopia. Run Gaga King James your version. What's the first verse in Esther? Try never to witness a people disappear, transaction in action. Yeah, heal when the boardroom hit harder come down. Silence is the usual chain reaction. All them searching for them bigger power over occupation, rejection, racial. Every corporate couple on foot in retreat. Who is the next sacrificial? White collar criminal, blue collar Krishna. All your decimation, inclination. You take a lead out of India, the feminine emblem. Send I the best cultivator, still make up your barraca, giving up your culture for cancer, giving up your culture for cancer. Yeah, from the whipping in the temple days, representing everlasting life. From the dripping in our blood, sweat, fees, ganja hustle free our soul tonight. Hey, and who that rebuke my ease is a judgment sacrifice. Hey, karma protection reduce, that give the right one more boost. White collar criminal, hey, blue collar Krishna, and your decimation inclination. You take a lead of the India, yeah, the feminine emblem. Send I the best cultivator, still make up your barraca. You're giving up your culture for cancer. Heal, I don't think you know about none of the two Ethiopia. Version. What's the first verse in Esther? Hey, them it's you're lucky and you're brownie. Only from resistance you know me. The shackles of the lion named truly. In a furrows of country. In a furrows of country. Yeah, and I'm white collar criminal, blue collar Krishna. All your decimation, inclination. You take a lead out of India. I don't think you know about none of the two Ethiopia. Run go King James your version. What's the first verse in Esther? White collar criminal, white collar criminal, white collar criminal.